Is love alive? I love this question. It's been inspiring to me, I think, each year as I sort of prepare for Christmas. And the question, after the year we've had, we might assume that if love is alive, it is only barely alive, like love on life support, maybe. And it doesn't feel very Christmassy to really ask the question, because this isn't one of those convenient religious questions that we get to ask rhetorically because we think we already have the answer. This is a question we ask because love has been called into question. We ask it because we're really not sure. We're less certain. Maybe this year more than in most years past, we're less certain about love than we've been. Is love alive? Does it really make any difference? And this is one of those questions that won't leave us alone. It sort of picks at us, despite all the ways that we might try to repress it with gifts and with shopping and lights and tinsel and sugar. It arrives uninvited, often undesired, and in the presence of so much negativity, so much fear and fatalism that would convince us that the answer is no, that love is dead. Love is not alive. Christmas sort of whispers this affirmation, but it's a whisper that actually shakes the ground of the systems of certainty and fear. Christmas whispers, yes, yes, love is alive. Love is alive. Witnessed in something so simple as the birth of a baby. Love manifest in humanity. It's not an idea or a belief or a prize for religious obedience. It's not supernatural, magical thinking. It is love known, the only way love can be known, in a person. Love known in a person. So love is alive or it is not love at all. Now, the Christmas stories arise in response to questions about the special connection between Jesus and God, sort of what makes Jesus special and when it happened. And so the first Jesus story says Jesus is special at his baptism, when he's like 30 years old. And then there are two other Jesus stories, and they say, no, not at his baptism. He's special from his birth. And this is where we get the classic Christmas stories. We've got baby Jesus, shepherds and wise men, stars and angels. But there's another Jesus story that says, not at his baptism, not at his birth, but all the way back before the beginning. So Jesus is connected with the essence of God somehow before the creation of the world, and then this unique, one-of-a-kind expression of God is born. So the language is Jesus is born of God. And you can see how the progression develops, right? Early on, they say special at baptism, no, special at birth, no, special all the way back before the beginning. And with each writing, it gets more intense about how special Jesus is, to the point where we go, okay, we get it. We get it, right? It's Christmas. Jesus is special, fine, right? He has a unique, one-of-a-kind connection with God. This is nothing we haven't heard before, whether or not you buy into that. What's fascinating to me is that the last writing, that community keeps writing. The Gospel of John, they keep writing years after their Jesus story. And we've been exploring this the entire fall here at Collective, the letter of 1 John. And it's interesting what they come to realize over those next several years. So this is the same community that said that this one-of-a-kind essence of God, that the sacred became flesh. They say Jesus was born of God. They go on to say everyone who loves is born of God and knows God because God is love. So this group that says Jesus is born of God, they go on to say everyone who loves is born of God. And we go, hold on a minute, born of God, that's Christmas language. And just a second, did you say everyone? And wait a minute, born of God not through the right belief or the right religion or the proper doctrine, but through love? Through love? Really? And so we're talking about Jesus, right? We're talking about the birth of Jesus. This is a unique person in a specific location, in a singular time, in a particular place. But apparently, when we celebrate this particular event, we are actually also participating in the story of a universal embrace, which includes us and all people. everyone who loves is born of God. See, Christmas sort of further scandalizes us with this invitation the God who is love, to be born in all of us. It is this life alive with love that we're all really hoping for. And so Christmas isn't actually just about the particularity of an ancient Near Eastern baby, but it's about the universal invitation for all people to be born into this love, which, yes, some call by the name of God, and yes, some access through the tradition of Christ. And the bigger question for me is, what if this love were born not just in the child who would become the Christ, but in all of the people who are shaped by this tradition? And what if that love were born in everyone, everywhere, who knows God already through lives of love? Because the deal is this, I think, when all of our religious convictions about which we're all so sure, and yet about which none of us can really seem to agree, when these are all stripped away and we experience the depth of unconditional love, we can no longer deny that the sacred, harbored in the name of love, is alive. That whatever it is that is going on in the name of God, however you conceive of that, is born in the risk and the vulnerability, is born in the gift and the unconditional hospitality of love. God is born in you and me when we love. And so for me, the answer is yes. Yes, love is alive in the particularity of the Christ child, and as that child goes on to point to the universal love by which all people know God. Love is alive. Everyone who loves is born of God because God is love. And God is with us in love as we live lives of love. Love is alive. Merry Christmas. Amen.